Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product. Yes, good morning, people. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are looking forward to a brilliant weekend. It's Friday. Happy Friday, people. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good morning, and I hope that you are looking forward to the show. We've got a lot of talk on Liverpool. We've got a little bit of talk on Man City, and we've got a little bit of talk on Newcastle this morning, and everything else that you've got in the chat for me. Big up to every single one of you in the chat. Please make sure you've done me a favor and hit that like button. Thank you so much for hitting 25k with me last night. Absolutely fantastic to hit that yesterday. Really, really proud, really, really happy. And thank you all so much for hitting that subscribe button. To get to 25k is something I never imagined this quickly. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Please make sure that you are continuing to do that by hitting the like and subscribe before you go any further. Good morning to the chat room. We've got Steve in the house, Tone in the house, WD, me mum's in the house, Promise, James, Ola, Easy, and everyone else that's watching that is not in the chat room, and of course that's watching on catch up or that's now listening on audio. We are now on audio platforms. If you go on Spotify and search for Football's 12th Man, you will find us, so you can watch us without no breaks on audio if you do prefer that. So I know some of you do like to do that on your catch-up days. If you're on the tube or whatever, you want to download an episode, then you can do that on the underground, so you can listen to it instead of listening to absolutely nothing, or of course music that you've downloaded. So please make sure that you are doing that and checking us out over on Spotify and all other audio platforms. Okay, look, let's get Manscaped some support, shall we? Manscaped have been phenomenal with us for the last couple of months. Please make sure that you are showing them some love. If you click on the pinned comments, it will take you to their website. Select beard and face, the Beard Hedger, and 20% will have come off using that link. So please make sure that you go and use that link. If you at all you have any problems, then just use the code FTM20 and you'll get 20% off. So please make sure that you do that. Without further ado, we've got some news to talk about, haven't we? And of course, it's going to be starting with Liverpool. There is a lot of talk about the futures of certain players at Liverpool Football Club, and this guy is one of them. Salah, at the moment, PSG are leading the race to sign him in the summer. It does not look like his future is very clear. PSG are leading the race to sign the Egyptian forward, and they will look to attempt the 32-year-old whose Liverpool contract expires at the end of the season. They are preparing a 3-year deal for him. As we saw the other night, PSG looking like they're lacking a few stars. Dembele, of course, was injured, but other than that, they had Barcola and a couple of others in midfield. I like João Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, but nobody across that front three like Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. So are they trying to replicate that with Salah being one of them? Look, I think Salah's still got a chance of staying at Liverpool. I've got to be brutally honest. I do think that if there's an opportunity for him to play Champions League football, and of course, to be competing with trophies, then Arne has got to prove that this is the place for him. And if he does sign a contract with Liverpool, I think he'll see his days out there. However, it is not looking likely at the moment. Saudi Arabian clubs are very interested in Salah. He would be an absolute god over there. But PSG are the favourites right now. What is going to be happening with Mo Salah? Is he going to be staying at Liverpool? If he wants to stay at Liverpool, it's going to have to be a lot of money. I honestly believe if they're going to have to offer him money, it's going to have to be something crazy. Saudi Arabia clubs are probably going to be offering him close to $1 million a week if it was enough to tempt him. That's how crazy the money is over there. So what is going to be offered to Salah? I don't know what's going to be offered at PSG. I imagine they'll probably offer him $450 a week, $500 a week, something mad like that, to try and prize him away from Liverpool. The guy is still an elite baller. The guy is still the best right winger in the world, in my opinion, and he is still scoring goals. So, look, what he's done in football is phenomenal. I actually do believe there's an opportunity for him to be brought into the Premier League all-time 11 now. I think Salah, if he was to do one, would probably be on one of the wings alongside with Ryan Giggs or Ronaldo on the other. A lot of people will talk about Hazard and Bale and David Silva and other players, and trust me, phenomenal, right? But when you look at it, Salah and Ronaldo are the two that really stand out for me, along with Ryan Giggs. So, look, Salah will be put in that bracket now. That's an absolute compliment. For me, he is one of the best that we've seen in the Premier League. And I think sometimes he actually gets underappreciated and disrespected because he's a phenomenal talent.
So if Liverpool are going to be getting rid of him, they need somebody to bring in. And Adeyemi is being seriously targeted. Now, yesterday I brought to you that this is probably something that could be true. Well, today, Bild in Germany are suggesting that they have identified Karim Adeyemi as a potential successor to Salah. They're ready to make a 41 million bid for the 22-year-old German in the summer. Look, I don't mind the player. I think he's a good player. I think he's a talented boy. And I think that players that come from Dortmund have been looked after. It's a well-run club, right? But he's nowhere near Mo Salah's level. But who is? Unless they go and buy Rodrigo, who are they actually going to go and get to replace Mo Salah if he does go? Look, Adeyemi would be a good signing for Liverpool anyway. He would. They've obviously got Chiesa, they've got Diaz, they've got Gakpo, they've got Nunez. There's rumours that Nunez may be leaving Liverpool, but Adeyemi is a player that would come in. And if I'm honest with you, he's scoring goals, but I actually don't think he's as clinical as people make out. But that's just my opinion. Some people may disagree and think that he is the next level that will take Liverpool to the top. And I'm not sure that I can see that. But look, he's young. He's got potential. He's definitely a player that we should be keeping our eyes on. And it's one that you need to look at if you're a Liverpool fan, because they are massively interested in him. I saw him in the Champions League final. I thought he was pretty wasteful. According to some of the chat yesterday, he's actually been doing well in Dortmund and he's been playing well for them. But he's not a player that I would look at and be really excited about signing if I was a Liverpool fan. But that's just me. Let's talk about this guy, because Real Madrid have made contact. According to reports, he is high on their list. And when Real Madrid come knocking, they usually get. Madrid have already made contact with England defender Trent. 25 years old he is. They attempt to lure him away from Liverpool at the end of the season. That's come from Spanish reports and reliable sources. A lot of people think that Trent won't go. A lot of people think that he's stay because he's a Liverpool lad. He's the next captain at Liverpool. He's the one who wants his future there. I would say that he's won everything at Liverpool at the age of 25. And if Real Madrid come knocking, I think he'll go. I genuinely do. If Real Madrid want him, then they're going to have to sell him Liverpool are going to have to try to keep on to him and get him to sign a new deal, because his contract's up in the summer, I believe. Can you imagine Real Madrid signing this guy on a free transfer? Absolutely crazy. Look, Trent's a phenomenal talent and, in my opinion, one of the best around. I think he's generational. I think he's won everything in the game at 25. I think he's got an amazing amount of experience already at that young age. His best friend is Jude Bellingham. There is no doubt in my mind that he would go to Real Madrid. Whether he'll go now or in the future, I don't know. Similarly to Saliba, I think Saliba will end up a Real Madrid player one day. I just hope it isn't soon. And I think Liverpool fans are the same. They don't want Trent to go. They probably accept that Real Madrid would be tempting for him. But if they lose Trent Alexander-Arnold, and particularly if they use him on a free, why they let his contract run down? It's absolutely crazy. How you can have Trent, Van Dijk and Salah all sat there, potentially leaving on a free after this season, is phenomenal. And they've got Mamardashvili as well coming in goal. So what's happening with Edinson? Because he's not going to sit on the bench. Very, very, very surprising what's happening at Liverpool. But at the moment, Liverpool are doing well. They're doing really, really well. So let's see what they can do to try and keep hold of these players. Because Trent, when Real Madrid come knocking, trust me, it's a different knock. Jude Bellingham knows, Beckham knows, Figo knows, Raul, Ronaldo, Zidane. They've all gone there. And you know why they've gone there? Because, let's be real, they were the best players in the world at the time. And that's the best club in the world. So, look, I reckon Arsenal and Liverpool and Manchester City are in a position where they can keep hold of most of their top players from any other club other than one. And that's Real Madrid. That is Real Madrid. Big up to Tyrese, man. Much appreciate this comment. Thank you so much. Really appreciate comments like that. So big up to you, my friend. Okay, so let's look at this news. Sticking with Liverpool. They're looking to get rid of Endo in January. This surprises me because he's the only real number 6 that they've got. Gravenberch is being used there. They have played McAllister there, but number 6 and Liverpool, it just hasn't worked out well, has it? Let's be real. The last number 6 they had was probably Fabinho and Mascherano and Alonso. We're going back quite a way now. They haven't had a 6 for a long time. So I think Liverpool need one. If it's Varela, if it's Zubamendi, if it's Cheikhouray, if it is Tchouameni, whoever they need to get him in the summer. In January, they're talking about Endo going and getting in a young defensive midfielder. Well, the only young defensive midfielder around, really, if you're talking about proper young, is Adam Wharton from Palace. maybe he'd be tempted to go there. But I need to see more from Adam Wharton, to be honest, to know that he's going to go to the very, very top. I think he's a top talent, but is he going to go to the very, very top? We'll see. Angel Gomez is another one that's got in the England side from Lille, who actually is playing well, but is more of a kind of box to box, I would say. Maybe not. Maybe he can play in the six. But look, Endo's going to be leaving, and I think that's a bit harsh. I think he's done very well at Liverpool. I thought he was a really good signing from last season, and I'm surprised not to have seen him. But it looks like Arne Slot does not fancy him, so that is a bit of a strange one. I don't know who they're going to get, if I'm honest with you. I really don't. I think Zubamendi's going somewhere, though. I know a lot of people think he's going to stay and he doesn't have any regrets and all that. Maybe he's not going to Liverpool. Maybe he's going to City in the January transfer window. Who knows? But I think he would be the one that everybody will first want with a release clause of 50 million. That's looking pretty good. So let's see what happens. Okay, let's talk about this guy because this is very, very interesting. Reading between the lines, it looks as if he has been offered a new contract. Now, this new contract that Haaland has been offered is set to be a contract that has a £100 million release clause added. That is what he is asking for. He wants a £100 million release clause added. Now, if that's true, that tells me that he's not set his future on Manchester City, that he wants to score as many goals in the Premier League with them, win as many trophies with them, and then move. Where does he want to move to? Well, he's only 24 years old, so he's got the whole world to look at. But Real Madrid have got to be there, right? They've got to be one of the clubs. But according to reports, it's Barcelona that are making the signing of Haaland in 2025 their priority. So this summer, Barcelona are making the signing of Haaland their priority. They obviously see what Real Madrid are doing with Mbappe. They want to bring Haaland to La Liga. Would Haaland go to Barcelona? Absolutely, I think he would. Would he go to Real Madrid? Absolutely, I think he would. Anywhere else, not so sure. I'm not so sure. He certainly wouldn't go to Saudi. He certainly wouldn't stay in the Premier League. And I don't think that he'd go to Germany, France, or Italy. So I think it is basically Spain, and it's either Barcelona or Real Madrid, or he stays at City. Now, the new contract that Manchester City are offering him, obviously, they don't have to agree that, but he needs to agree it with them, and he wants a £100 million release clause put in place. Now that, let's be real, is going to be hard for Manchester City because he's actually worth more than that. I'd say he's close to 150. If Declan Rice is 100, he's got to be 150, right? The guy is phenomenal. He is a goal machine. He's basically a cheat code. So some might say he's close to 200 million. So if it's an £100 million release clause, that's getting released pretty soon. Pretty soon. So I don't know where your thoughts are on Haaland. A lot of people say that he's not much. He's just a goal scorer. Cool. That's what I'll have in my team then. He'd walk into any team in the world. He is phenomenal. If Real Madrid were to get him with Kylian Mbappe and Vinny Jr. either side, wow. And then you've got what? Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, and Valverde behind that. Turning into the Galacticos again, aren't they? So, look, I think that he could potentially leave Manchester City. And I think, if I'm honest, he's putting that release clause in, not because he doesn't like Man City or want to stay there for the rest of his days. I don't think any of those players are really sure about what's happening with the 115. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a few more Man City players that add in release clauses in their contracts so that teams can actually buy them. Because the last thing they want is to be stuck down in the Championship if that is going to be the case. So I can see why teams are actually looking at this as potentially, you know, if I'm going to stay at Man City, I'm going to put in a release clause. I can see why KDB is thinking, yeah, I might go and play my days somewhere else. I can see why there's players like Kyle Walker are coming to the end thinking, I might go and try and revive my career somewhere else. Because they don't know what's happening with 115. And I know that the club is saying we've done nothing wrong and we're going to be fine, but we can't guarantee that, and the players can't. So I think the players looking at their futures is fair. I really do. I think it's something that a lot of players will now do at Manchester City. So let's see what happens. I'm like not praying that Man City get relegated, by the way. A lot of people think that I am, like as an Arsenal fan. I actually don't care. I just want the truth to come out and there to be punishment if they've done wrong and we to get on with life if they've done nothing wrong. That's where I'm at with 115. People always ask me about it and they want to do shows on it. It bores me, if I'm honest. It bores the hell out of me. I know nothing about it. I've not read this 98-page document. I've not been privy to any of that. I don't want to be. I just want to know in black and white, what have Man City done wrong and what's the punishment? And if they've done nothing wrong, let's just get on with life and forget about it, please. That's the way I see it. So let's see what happens. This guy is linked with Manchester United quite heavily. We saw Manchester United last night. Ten Hag, again, Harry Maguire saving his job, but it's not going to be good news long term. But Allegri is wanted. He is currently available. He has left his time at Juventus with Thiago Motta, now the manager over there. And Thomas Tuchel has come back on the radar. I think one of these two is the absolute perfect manager for Manchester United. Either of those two are really good appointments. Ten Hag needs to go. Ruud van Nistelrooy needs to stay as a number two. He's not ready, in my opinion. If I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm more excited by Tuchel or Allegri than I am with Southgate, Potter, Howe, Ruud van Nistelrooy. They've done that. They've been there with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, some people might say they've been there with Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal. They have. But these two are a lot more proven in the modern day, I would say. Allegri and Tuchel. Maybe that's unfair on Jose because he has still won stuff. But you get my point. I think there is a place for Thomas Tuchel at Manchester United. Now, he might fall out with the board. But if I'm honest with you, I think the board need to get this right, and they need to get the appointment right. And if they feel like Tuchel's going to fall out with everyone, they shouldn't be appointing him. So they've got to get this right as well, the board. And, if they're as good as what people say, then, they need to be trusted with the right appointment. Manchester United are a mess. Let me tell you this now. Manchester United needs so much done. They've got the structure in place now. They need to sort their stadium out that's leaking every game. They need to sort out what's happening with the toxicity at the club, the mentality at the club. They need to sort the coaching staff out. They need to sort the manager out, and they need to sort the playing staff out. That is going to take 3 years. It's taken Arsenal 5, and we weren't in anywhere near as bad a state as Manchester United were. So I think it's going to take a few years. Manchester United have got a chance to do it quicker than Arsenal because they've got an unbelievable amount of money that they spend. And if they spent that money wisely on players that they could have got, wow, they could be in a good place. But I don't know that I have faith in Manchester United to do that over the years. Glazers spent money. He spent a lot of money. But if you look at what they've spent it on, it ain't been very good. Look at that side. Onana was 50 million. Maguire was 80 million. Lisandro Martinez was 30. De Ligt was 40. You got Mazraoui and Dalot and Wan-Bissaka that were all there. They were like 50, 25 and 20 million, weren't they? In midfield, Ugarte has been bought. Kobe Minu was the only one come through. Bruno was bought for a lot of money. Mason Mount was bought for a lot of money. Anthony was bought for a lot of money. And then up top, you've spent £100 million on Højlund and Xerxes, and neither of them have scored anything more than 20 goals combined in their career. I think it is a real big risk to buy those sort of players. Now, you look at the money that was spent there. For 50 million, they could have got Emi Martinez in goal, right? Or Diogo Costa in goal, or Michael Maignan in goal, or Jan Oblak in goal. At centre-half pairings, you could have bought Jared Brantwaite and Mark Guehi and had actually two centre-half English defenders that actually could go forward as a pairing. You could have easily got better fullbacks than what they've got so far. Tariq Mitchell at Palace is better than there. Even Tariq Lamptey at Brighton would be more promising than some of the fullbacks they've had over the years. Then you go into midfield and you think, why have they not got a defensive midfielder like Yusuf Fofana in? Why have they not got a box-to-box midfielder like him? Why have they not got a holding midfielder that they could have spent an unbelievable amount of money on? They could have gone and got Zubimendi. They could have gone and got a player that could have taken them forward by now, like their equivalent of a Thomas Partey. And then in their attacking midfield, let's be real, Bruno's been good for them, but is he the right captain? Not for me. And then across the front three, I've never seen anything so shambolic in my life. Garnacho is probably one of their better ones, and he's not that great. Up top, they could have got Ollie Watkins, Ivan Toney. Hell, they could have even got Gyökeres with what money they've spent on those two. So for me, really poor. Really poor from Manchester United in terms of recruitment. I don't rate majority of their squad now. I really don't. And that is saying something because they've got a lot of players. So that's where I'm at with Manchester United. Let's see what happens. This player's been linked again, and of course he's been linked to Newcastle. Now, his contract runs up, I believe, this summer, and at the end of this season, he will be a free transfer. Newcastle can now start talking to him in January and get him for a lot cheaper, in my opinion. What will Palace do? Well, I think Palace now have basically decided that they're going to keep him for another year. Maybe they can tempt him to stay and sign a contract, but I don't think he will. I think he will go to Newcastle, and I think it would be a very good signing. The other team that I think would be interested in him would be Liverpool. Arsenal were interested in him, but I think now we've got too many centre-halves. We're pretty stacked and in defence. I would still take him. So I think he's phenomenal. And I think for him and Saliba to be our right-sided centre-backs would be brilliant. But maybe that's me being greedy and that's a lot of money to spend. But look, if he's a free transfer and he wants to come to Arsenal and fight for his place, I'm taking him. But Liverpool and Newcastle are the two clubs I think being interested in him. I imagine Manchester United would be. Chelsea maybe taking him back and accepting that they've done wrong. Let's see. But Mark Guehi, is wanted by Newcastle. And I was surprised he didn't go in the summer. Looks like Newcastle and Palace just could not agree a fee. So let's take a look now and stick with Chelsea because they want John Duran. And this is a player that really excites me. I think he is a top talent. But apparently Aston Villa want in excess of £80 million now. He's 20 years old. Colombian forward has been absolutely elite. You know, he scored 1 goal every 48 minutes. This is a phenomenal record for John Duran. And I think personally, there's an opportunity here for him to get a lot of money for Villa. But I also believe there's an opportunity for him to actually stay. I think he should be playing in the first team now. I think him and Watkins together can form a partnership. And I also believe personally that behind him, you've then got Morgan Rogers. You've got the likes of their midfield of Tielemans and Onana. I think they can actually play more of a 4-4-2. I really do. And I think that they can definitely allow for Duran to come in alongside Ollie Watkins. Is he a super sub? Well, we're going to find out. If he starts and we see him in a string of games, we're going to see if he's a super sub or if he's a starter. And I think he's good enough now. I mean, that finish the other night was phenomenal. So let's see what happens there. But Aston Villa, if they are going to sell, it's going to be £80 million now. That is a phenomenal amount of money. That really is. One player I did mention was Garnacho. Obviously, last night he played and probably was the only one that I think in the last few seasons has actually tried and given his all. He's 20 years old, but Barcelona and Juventus are monitoring him. United are believed to value the player at £50 million. Would he be one that leaves? Has he had enough already? Wouldn't surprise me if he has, to be honest. He's just not, in my opinion, in a very good place at Manchester United. It needs a lot of work. So would he get fed up or frustrated? Potentially. Let's look at this guy because this guy is at Fenerbahce and he is actually being linked with a move to Everton. Should Sean Dyche be sacked or removed from his position or step down and resign, then Jose Mourinho and Everton. Now, there's a new owner and takeover at Everton, and apparently Jose Mourinho is the first name on the list of new managers at Everton. And it looks as if Everton want to move forward, then they're going to have to move on Sean Dyche. He can keep them in the Premier League. I am absolutely certain of it. But do Everton want to be struggling around in the relegation? Or do they want Mourinho to try and take him forward? Whether you like Mourinho or not, he has a style of play at a club like Everton where he's definitely good enough to take them forward. Now, Everton needs some players. And with a new takeover, which is needed, Everton definitely need a little bit of money put into it. They put a hell of a lot of money previously, but they need to look at their recruitment because it's been really poor. Really, really poor. So, look, I think it would be good for the Premier League to see Jose back. I don't like him because he's managed the clubs I absolutely cannot stand, Spurs, Man United and Chelsea. But you can't look at his career and CV and think that he is an absolute donut. The guy knows what he's doing. Yes, he might have been, let's say, football's moved on perhaps, and Jose won't be competing at the very top, but I still think he can take clubs forward like Everton. He won something with Roma, for example. He'll probably win the league with Fenerbahce if he stays there. This is the sort of manager that he is. So let's see where we go with Jose. Okay, Ben Chilwell. I can't believe he's still at Chelsea, if I'm honest with you. But Atletico Madrid have identified Chelsea and England defender Ben Chilwell as their latest transfer target. According to reports, Atletico Madrid are interested not only in Conor Gallagher, who they've signed, but also in Ben Chilwell. Let's see what happens here because Ben Chilwell needs to leave Chelsea. He's clearly not wanted. There's a few players at Chelsea that need to get the hell out of there still, and he's one of them. Mudryk is another. There's quite a few more that probably are youngsters that need to get out, aren't going to get a chance under Maresca. So he's one of them that needs to go and save his career somewhere else. Let's talk about Jonathan David because he's a player that is only 24 years old. And Newcastle are the favourites and front-runners to be signing him this summer. Now, I think that there's a lot of clubs interested in this player because he's a striker that's actually doing well at Lille and he's actually got a record that says I score goals. Arsenal are actually loosely linked with him. I think we can do better than him. Not that he's a bad striker, but I do think we can upgrade on that position. But Newcastle are interested. It'd be surprising to me if a club like West Ham, if a club like floating around mid-table would not be interested in taking a punt on Jonathan David because I do think that he's a good player. That's it from me, guys, this morning. Short but sweet. Please do me a favour and make sure that you've hit the like button and you've hit the subscribe button. It's really important that you do that. I will be back later on this evening, early evening, around about 5 p.m, where I'll be bringing to you the weekend preview. We're going to be talking about Aston Villa and Manchester United. We're going to be talking about Arsenal and Southampton. And we're also going to be talking about Tottenham and Brighton, because they're the three biggest games I would suggest this weekend. So big up to every single one of you. Make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button and the subscribe button as you leave. Make sure you click on the pinned comments in the section. It will take you to manscaped.com, where you can select the beard hedger and it will give you 20% off. Please make sure you do that. And please make sure you're following us now on all audio platforms. Please make sure you go and give us a follow on there, whether you listen on Spotify, on Amazon, on Google, wherever you listen to us. Please make sure that you do that, because you can listen to us on audio now. So big up to every single one of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. We're out of here. And as always, up the Arsenal, people.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.